Hi guys, Hellville here. I'll wait to confirm that okay. I've confirmed that my sound is working. Okay, cool. Just making sure. My sound is working on the first go. Yay. My voice is also working. Also, there are flames coming out of the eyes of the skull on the shirt that I'm wearing. So there are flames involved. Okay, so today was a bit of a crazy day. I know Big Tip Dog is live right now, so I understand that probably a lot of my usual viewers like won't be here because you'll be watching that. So I do hope that you catch the replay on this. I feel like y'all are sleeping on my Reddit streams. So hopefully more of you go back and watch some of them because oh man, these stories are crazy. Some of these stories are crazy. Um, and I'm picking ones that are rated really highly on Best of Redditor updates. So anyways, we'll get there. We'll get there. Um, but yeah, so I am also going to be hopping onto Echo's stream after this stream to talk about the 341 because that official audio has dropped. Yay, finally. Um, Now it's on the record, as opposed to just my voice notes that I made. So anyways, yeah, that's the housekeeping stuff, I guess. So, um, let me share. Where did my mouse go? Yeah, lost the mouse there for a second. Also, I don't need to worry about earphone slippage or whatever. So that's good. Um, okay, let's see. And this is the one. Okay. Uh, See, that's the tiny one. I thought I got rid of the tiny one. Hmm. It made a debut regardless of me getting rid of it in the preset options. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, yeah, so this Reddit story, if I don't have like people involved in the chat, I'll just decide alone if people are an asshole or not. So it is what it is. Um, but yeah, so my wedding is on the 25th, but my now fiance says he's not sure if we should get married. Ooh, that is rough. Um, I'm assuming you've done something pretty horrible. So based on the title, I would say um it's on the 25th. So okay, so that's roughly 20 days before the post. That is cutting it pretty close. I feel like you should have known earlier if you didn't want to be with someone, if they were doing some crazy shit leading up to the wedding, right? So I'm kind of thinking he's an asshole for waiting this long, but you're probably an asshole for whatever you did to make him get to the point of trying to cancel the wedding. So so there's that. Um anyway, let's start reading the Reddit story. My wedding is supposed to happen 20 days from now. However, my fiance says he's not sure if we can go through with it, if he can go through with it. I, female 28, have tried to help him, male 30, figure out if he's just having normal pre-wedding nerves or cold feet, but he says he doesn't know. He swears he's not having an affair or hiding anything from me, but he isn't sure if we should go through with the wedding. We have people coming from all over the province. Okay, so probably Canadian. But he's second guessing getting married, and I'm not even sure what to do. We have been together for 4 years. We have lived together for 2 years and been engaged for over a year. That's like a good progression of relationship, I would say. Um, he's never displayed any problems with commitment. I've never had to give him any ultimatums or push him along when it comes to moving forward in our relationship. Up until 8 days ago, he was enthusiastic about our wedding and us looking for a house. We haven't had any other big changes in our lives or any bad news recently, so I don't know where his hesitation is coming from. No family problems either. Each of our families love the other and are excited about the wedding. I love him, and this is scaring me because he won't even tell me why he suddenly feels this way. The wedding is supposed to be on the 25th, and he's refusing to let me in or help him figure out his feelings. I don't even know what to do now. Well, okay, I was very off in my original, thought. Now I'm thinking if you haven't, like, done anything absolutely buck wild, that he cheated at the bachelor party, which probably just happened, or he was reached out to by, like, an ex or, like, something of that nature, I think. Um, I think that's probably what's going on. Um, like, one of those things, or maybe he has been cheating for a while. I don't know, but seems pretty fishy to all of the sudden get, like, icicle feet. That's not even cold feet. That's like frostbite level feet. So, um, yeah, I would say something like that has happened, and that's or someone's getting in his ear about marriage and, like, making it sound really horrible maybe. That's also a possibility, I guess. But why is it that every time I stream, Adobe Creative Cloud decides to send me an update that, like, goes over StreamYard? Okay. So, this happens every single time, it's amazing. It is amazing, and my computer is on, like, all the time, so there's no reason to, like, limit it to only while I'm actually streaming. Um, Maybe it's the time. Maybe it sends it at 9 p.m. Maybe I can edit that because that is wild. Anyway, um, yeah, so I'm assuming that he cheated at the bachelor party, which just happened somewhere in between now and the 8 days ago, he was fine, or he, um, like, ran into an ex or something, and wants to rekindle that or something like that. I don't know. Um, okay, relevant comments. If he won't talk to you or deal with this appropriately, then I think you should appreciate that he is showing you who he really is. That's true. That's how he handles conflict. If he's unable to be an adult about the issue, he will never be able to deal with the much more difficult and serious issues that come up in married life. You're fortunate to learn this now instead of after you get married. This is very true. It's time to tell him to get on the phone today and call both sets of your parents and tell them that he is canceling the wedding because he's decided he's unsure about getting married and doesn't know why. I hope they aren't going to be out a lot of money. If they are, he needs to reimburse them. And don't you even think about making excuses for him. He's jerked you around long enough. Yeah, so there's that. I also think on top of that too, it's like, you know, if this is how he deals with problems, just shutting down entirely, that is really, like, not good partner behavior. If your partner just refuses to talk to you about what the problem actually is, um, if you can't talk about it together, then why is this partnership even in existence, really? Um, so next, he needs to call each guest and let them know the same thing. These guests are spending time and money. He needs to give them as much advance notice as possible. Also, I'm sure some people are going across the whole Canada's a fairly large country, certainly wide. So, not to fat shame Canada, but I would say, that people have spent time and probably money on travel and stuff. Captain Ad says, definitely sucks. I'm in the camp of better now than a year or two into marriage. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure. Definitely better now than a year or two into marriage to know this is how he deals with problems that arise. I just think it's like very bizarre that it just came out of nowhere and 8 days ago he was gung ho. So I find that very bizarre. Um, he also needs to cancel the vendors and pay for your personal out of pocket. I agree. This is on him for waiting way too long and not having any kind of explanation. Yeah, it's 100% on him, obviously. Stop babying him. That time has passed. It's time to start mitigating the damages. Original poster says, just want to clarify that there are no parents to call. Neither of us have any living. Oh, that's sad. Neither of us have any living parents. They're fairly young too. That is sad. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe he's sad that his parents couldn't be there and he's like he doesn't want to do it. I don't know. Also, no one else paid for our wedding. Him and I paid everything for ourselves. Apologies for any confusion. I didn't say anything about our parents or someone else paying for our wedding in my post. So I wanted to clarify. Thank you for replying. Yeah, but he needs to replenish your entire out of pocket if he's going to cancel it for sure. Because I'm sure there's no deposits left. Um, and someone else commented, um, you know what, marrying someone who feels like this about their upcoming wedding is a terrible idea. Oh, you know that. Marrying someone who feels like this about their upcoming wedding is a terrible idea, right? Well, hopefully she knows better. My update is that I didn't get married. My relationship is over and I'm blocking him and moving out tomorrow. I want to thank everyone who left supportive comments on my last post. They were appreciated. Whenever I, 28F, asked him, male 30, if he thought it was cold feet, did something happen, etc., he always just said he didn't know. We had guests driving in from all over the province, so the day after my post, I told everyone the wedding was postponed. Fortunately, anyone who isn't local was able to cancel their hotel reservations without any penalty. That's good. And everyone got a refund from what they bought off our registry. Also good. I would have felt horrible if any of our guests had lost money over this. Good thing none of them were flying in, I guess. Um, Captain Nat says, skeptical of gung ho. Yeah, very much. Very skeptical. I would have felt horrible if any of our guests had lost money over this. I suggested we go to counseling to figure this out. He agreed, but then on the day of our first appointment, he said that he was fine to get married. And when we went to the appointment, he told the therapist I overreacted by canceling the wedding. No way. By canceling the wedding and blamed me for all of the money we lost. The venue and all of our vendors had 30-day cancellation clauses. And he didn't start saying we shouldn't get married until after the cancellation deadline. So, yeah. Oh god, after how he acted at the appointment, I knew I couldn't marry him. He was shocked when I refused to renew our lease together and said I was moving out. I try not to care what anyone thinks, but at least all our family and friends think he was unreasonable and don't blame me. Yeah, that is crazy, but, like, he never gave a why? Canceling a wedding is expensive, but divorce is more expensive and painful. Yeah, very true. Very true. The only people who win in a divorce are the lawyers. So, good job lawyers for winning, I guess. Um, you did the right thing. Yes. This is what really frosts my cookies. I like this. Hirsch widow, Porsche widow, whatever. He told the therapist I overreacted by canceling the wedding and blamed me for all the money we lost, and the venue and all of our vendors had 30-day cancellation clauses. And he didn't start saying we shouldn't get married until after the cancellation deadline. So dude is having cold feet, but is now pissed that she rightly canceled the wedding and they lost money. That makes no sense. What did he expect? That they just press on ahead? What an idiot. Yes, I agree. What an idiot. I feel like I have that on my soundboard somewhere. Uh, let's see. Is it that one? Probably not. It's not the right one, I don't think. Hmm, maybe it is. Nope, definitely not. Definitely not. Okay. Well, anyway, I do have um some Harry Potter sounds. I don't know why they're like coming out of my actual speakers though. That can't be right. There's something amiss with this audio. It's set to, oh, okay, maybe that's why. Okay. Well, back to the soundboard. I swear, like, where is, like, okay. Hermione saying, "What an idiot." You all know that. Leon from Jersey is here. Hey, Leon. I don't think I'll ever get married. It belongs in the last century. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do think marriage is antiquated. I personally would like to get married. I want that like level of commitment. I'm not going to have children. But I would like a husband. So that but to each their own, you know. I don't judge people that are not married and have been in relationships for lengthy periods of time or whatever. All good. I just think this shit is crazy. This particular guy is a real dick. Yeah. I mean, that is quite the Darvo that he pulled. You overreacted and lost us a ton of money. No, You overreacted and got ridiculously cold feet, and I had no choice but to react and mitigate the disaster, the incoming disaster. I mean, that's a lot of people that would have booked accommodations and stuff like that, and it's a really good thing that they were able to get their money back. You have to think about other people besides you, when you're getting married. Just because the day is about you and your partner doesn't mean that, like, you're the only people on the planet. Other people still exist. So, if you're going to inconvenience your guests like that, at least save them some money on their travel expenses. So anyway, Vincent says, my guess is he wanted to her to grovel or go into the marriage feeling insecure and easy to manipulate. Instead, she pulled a badass boss move, and now he's got nothing and is down the money. Smells like justice. It does smell like justice, but I'll definitely say that um again, I do think something happened. What it is, I do not know, but I think that he cheated at the bachelor party or ran into an ex or something like that and was starting to think, like, what could have been, what would have been. Leon from Jersey says, "Women love marriage. We don't need a piece Men don't need a piece of paper." I mean, some men also wanna be married, so those are the ones I'll date. Um, Ultimately, yeah. I mean, but that's the thing, right? We all have to date with the right intentions in mind. So if you are dating someone who really wants to get married, then, you know, that's kind of a mismatch. You kind of you have to make sure that you're dating people that also don't want to get married. And like me, have to date people that do want to get married. So, there's that. Um, I On mine Holt? I don't know how to say that. This can't be it. Something is still wrong. Update me. OOP says, "What do you mean? My relationship with him is over. I've blocked him. I'm moving out and moving on with my life. Something is still wrong. How can something be wrong when our relationship is over? And even if there is something wrong with him, it's no longer my problem. Update me. There won't be any further updates because my relationship with him is over." Just keep reiterating that. It's almost like you're trying to convince yourself that your relationship with him is over. Oh my god. And he's out of my life as of today. I mean, good for you, babe. Good for you. Definitely don't want to tie yourself down to someone who, like, is having cold feet, because ultimately it's not just cold feet about marriage, it's cold feet about you. So, Leon said, "How long should we date before the man pops the question?" I think it depends. I think it depends on the relationship, how quickly it moves. I think it depends on, how strong someone's personality is, so how quickly you can see if it could be a match or not. I have a fairly strong personality, so I feel like someone should know pretty quickly if I'm a no. So, and vice versa. I'm really good at kind of being like, "Oh, no, this will not work." I see the red flags and I run from them. I avoid those red flags. I do love the color red, but not in a flag unless I'm waving it at a Reddit story. But that man is a red flag, to be fair. Um, but him still not opening up about what the actual issue is, that's a big problem to me. I don't like that. Um, Okay, moving on to the next story. These ones are a little bit shorter. I am also hopping over to Echoes from the Tabernacles stream after this, because there was a hearing that was the release today. So I am going to try to, like, stream onto my channel as well. So I might be live again. It's about that crazy Laura Owens case. So um Leon asks, "Have I ever been to Europe?" Yes, many, 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 many times. I've been to several places in Europe, yes. But there's still so many more countries I have yet to get to. So I want to see everything. I want to go everywhere. That's goals. Okay. I think okay, let me share this tab instead. I've learned the llama trick. Okay, so this one is, "Bride invites me to wedding and expects me to pay for venue." Haven't spoken to her in 2 years, by the way. Um, Bride is the asshole. Never invite someone to your wedding with the expectation that they're going to pay for part of it. What do you mean? Okay, well, that's my original, judgment is that the bride's the asshole here. But who am I? Um, would you rather be American or European? Well, Leon, I'm both. My dad's English, and I have dual citizenship, so I am English. I just am also American. I think Europe is maybe slightly less embarrassing at the moment, so probably European if I had to choose, but I can't really choose. I am who I am, you know? Like sweet potato. Yam. Anyway, okay, on to the story. So this friend I made in university and I were close once until she got engaged 2 years ago and cut off all her single friends because she is too good for single friends and can only now have engaged or married friends. LOL, according to her, of course. I haven't spoken to her in 2 years since that and have gotten over it since it's been a while. I get an email today that I thought was spam. Turns out it was a wedding invitation, not personally from her, but from her coordinator inviting me to the wedding. That is crazy. Oh my god, it's not even from her. That is actually wild. Mm. And by email, no less. By email. Come on, you're like, your house address does not have a spam filter, but your email sure does. There is so many ways that it could, she could have missed that. And the bottom line of the invite was a bill for $400 to pay for the venue plus 150 for the meal. What the That's some wild shit right there. Captain Nat says, "Leon, I think men need the piece of paper. Women know this. Men need the paper." Well, probably. Yeah, I mean, I think to each their own. I think some women don't wanna get married and some men do wanna get married and vice versa. So, you know, we just have to find people that want the same things out of life as we do. That's the goal. Um, okay. I know this varies around the world, but where I am, the bride and groom or maybe their family pays for the venue and food, not random people you don't talk to. Yeah, so there's that. 20 people in total were invited to the wedding. Ooh, it's a micro wedding. You could see all the emails in the sent to bar. Oh no, that is a privacy issue. That is against many laws. That coordinator really fucked up. Dude, you didn't even BCC everyone, you CC'd everyone. Ooh, ooh, no, 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 that's a big no-no, and this is probably, like, string 3 of guests. Leon says, "Captain Nad's ball and chain, I've never been in love." Well, that then maybe that kind of leads into why you don't believe in marriage, but at the same time, just because you do fall in love doesn't necessarily mean that you want to get married or have to get married. Again, I think it depends on the person, so but hey, maybe if you fall in love, then you will, actually feel like you do want to get married. So, you're not tied to a certain feeling of either way, unless you've specifically told someone, yes, I am looking for marriage. And then when it comes down to it, and she's expecting a ring and you're just like dragging your feet, popping the question or whatever. And you're like, well, my thoughts have changed and now I don't think I want to get married. That sucks. That is not okay. So, we have to be into like, we have to intuit our, emotions and feelings about things earlier, so that way we minimize the amount that we hurt people. Um, so people we supposedly love too, so very important. Um, okay. So 20 people were on the CC'd send to bar, so I guess she's pretty much only inviting me to help pay a cost. I would never have the balls to do that to someone, especially after telling them we can't be friends because 'cause you're engaged and can't we can't be friends because 'cause you're engaged and can't have single friends. And no, I'm not the kind of friend that parties or drinks. She cut off any friend that wasn't engaged or married. Ugh. Good grief. Um, I know I now know what they mean when they say weddings bring out the worst in people. Yeah, yeah. Edit. Okay, after I declined to her coordinator, the bride messaged asking why I declined, so I'm gonna give my response. Edit. You can check December 26th or 27th at the latest for an update. Update. Oh, Leon says America won the World Cup of losers. Yes, well, frequently, as frequently happens. So after she sent me the message asking why I declined, I just said, it's impossible to finance that. She didn't say anything. I spoke to the mutual friend. The mutual friend isn't going, but was told about the mandatory payment prior to the invitations going out because basically, like other users here suggested, I was plan C of people I knew it to invite. And she really needed people to come to this wedding because the venue gives her a discount if the quantity of people reaches a certain amount. Everyone in the wedding party is not paying. So I was like a last resort type thing, basically, like so many of you suggested. Since we are all aged 23 to 24, not everyone who she invited was able to pay in the first place. So yeah, she was like, who's next on this list? Oh yeah, shades of cool. I guess she thought I'd forget about the reasoning for her cutting her friends off, but I didn't. As for everyone wondering who the fiance is, no one has met him, not even the mutual friend, but he was in charge of a club at our university, and I've heard he's kind of a dick. So I guess she realizes like you can't just cut off friends and then send them that years later. That doesn't work, but she wanted to try her luck. He has a lot of friends as well, so I think his friends overshadow hers and she just wanted someone to be there for her. She should have thought about that before she cut off her friends for stupid ass reasons. But no, you cannot harvest and bear fruit from a tree you never watered. Yes, yeah, that is well put. And that's the end of that story. So, um, definitely interesting. These people are crazy. And at the end of that story, I still say bride is an asshole. Bride is an asshole. You can't just cut friends off and then expect them to like pay a ridiculous amount of money for both a gift and also toward the venue. No. Oh my gosh. Why would she even want to sit in a room with anyone single? How ridiculous of a thing to ask her. Leon wants to know how old I am. Um, I'm cutting it fine. Not entirely sure what that means, but I am 38. So I don't know what cutting it fine means. um, yeah. So I think the bride's the asshole here. You can't just cut friends off for stupid reasons, then expect them to be there for you when you need them. Uh, yeah. I'm dealing with a familial similar situation. But I was the one that cut it off. But now I don't know. I kind of expected someone to crawl out of the woodworks and they didn't. So hey, look, I'm okay with that. Just don't crawl out of the woodworks then because I cut you off for a reason. It was a good reason, not like this dumbass. I have to cut you off because you're single. What? It's so stupid. Okay, moving on to the next story. I-24F was just uninvited from a wedding that had already started. Am I overreacting? So I would say, based on the title, that the couple or bride or groom or whoever made that determination is the asshole here, in my opinion. Um, Today, my 24 male partner and I, um, 24 female, let's call him Eric. Oh, my 24 male partner and I, 24 female. Okay, let's call him Eric. We're invited to the wedding of one of his oldest friends from school. We received Leon wants to know if I'm high maintenance. I'm fairly like low key, fairly down to earth. Yeah, I'm not that high maintenance. No, I don't think so. I take like 15, 20 minutes to get ready. I don't put on face makeup. I I don't mess with face makeup. I think it looks like it just it just looks bad on my skin, but anyway, I'm not that high maintenance, no. Maybe, like, brand-wise a little bit, uh, no. I'm not that high maintenance. Um, okay, so we were invited to a wedding of one of his oldest friends from school. We received our save the date months ago, and the invite was addressed to Eric and Vicky. Our invite stated that we were invited for the whole shebang, the service, the breakfast, and the evening reception. Our RSVP required both of our dietary requirements for the breakfast, which we replied to ages ago. I thought this was pretty awesome and generous of the bride and groom, as I had never met either of them before, and Eric was only close with the bride, so it was a very nice gesture. The wedding is a few hours away from where we live, and since neither of us drive, I booked train tickets in advance, which came to about 60 euros each return. Okay, that's not too bad. Um, that's not too bad. Uh, and an Airbnb, which worked out to 90 euros between us. We don't earn a lot, so this is quite a big spend to justify. Okay, so it's a lot to you. However, since they had invited us to the whole wedding, we thought that it would be rude not to go. The bride also specified colors we should wear, so I bought a new outfit since I didn't have anything formal that would be suitable. Not at the end of the world, not the end of the world, but with Christmas coming up, it was a bit difficult and I had to be really, really frugal all through November to make it work. Total spend was probably double what I would have spent monthly on fun stuff like going out for dinner or drinks with new or dinner or drinks or new clothes. We got to the service and it was beautiful. The bride looked lovely and it was very emotional. I get nervous at weddings, couldn't say why, and so I hadn't eaten beforehand, figuring the four-course breakfast would fill me up nicely. After the ceremony, we went straight to the venue to have drinks and sit down at the tables. We were towards the back of the line into the venue, so half the congregation had already sat down. We glanced at the seating plan, saw Eric's name, and headed over. There was no place setting for me. Eric found his name there, but Eric found his name, but there weren't any free seats at the table. Eric sat down and I asked an usher whether this was a mistake. He didn't know, so he waved over the bride. She and I had never met before, but she seemed really friendly until she opened her mouth. Bitch. Oh no, you're not part of the breakfast. The invitation was just for the reception and the service. You're welcome to come back later. What's she supposed to do for the four-course breakfast? What is that, like 2 hours? What's she supposed to do? That is crazy. That is so rude. You invite them as a couple. So either they are invited to all of the things as a couple or they are not. They are not invited to all of the things as a couple. That is usually how it works. That's crazy. Liam wants to know what was my favorite subject at school. Probably fashion workshop. I aced it. I had teachers telling me that they could have if they could have given me an A plus plus, they would have. I always did something that was like above and beyond um whatever was required for that project. So also interior design was pretty sick. And also forensics, which has come in handy when I was going over that handwriting sample from the Substack. So yeah, probably yeah, forensics was pretty cool. Yeah. I really liked that. And I like that I can tell like blood spatter and arson patterns and forgeries and stuff like that. So um okay. How do I spell color with a U appropriately? Obviously. Um I feel like I'm being asked a bunch of questions that is gonna end up on the dark web or something. Um, okay, so moving along with the story. Uh, this was in front of most of the guests who had already sat down in a big venue, probably 140-ish seats. The usher suggested that I go to the pub. Eric didn't know what to do, but didn't want to cause a scene, so he stayed put and quiet. Ooh, no, we don't like that. I quite literally have never felt so embarrassed and humiliated in my life. I left and it was raining heavily. I hadn't brought an umbrella since it was an indoor wedding, and you didn't expect to be having to walk out in the cold in the middle of the event, obviously. And being in a rural place, I had to walk about 20 minutes to get anywhere else. The usher had suggested a pub where the other guests are, so I just kept walking, but my shoes were literally ruined and soaked through. Oh, uh, as well as being pretty damn cold because it's December and I was dressed for a wedding. That is so sad. It just keeps getting worse. Get to the pub to find a handful of merrymakers drinking heavily at 2 p.m. in wedding clothes, introduced myself and kind of awkwardly, as they were total strangers. And they were luckily really nice. They invited me to sit with them and tell them about the service. All of them had only been invited to the reception. God, why just picking and choosing all over the place? It's so weird. I asked one of them if I could see their invite, and it was crystal clear that they were evening guests. There was no mention of the service or the breakfast, nor the dietary requirements. I apparently was the only person who was invited and then uninvited to the whole do. I sat with them, had some food because I was starving, but they all started leaving to get ready at around 4 p.m. Being a total stranger, I didn't think it best to ask to come with them, but I had never been to this part of town before, and besides Eric, I didn't know anyone. Since being ejected around 1:30ish, I was expected to just hang until 7:30 when the reception started. Oh my goodness, we have a visitor. Mr. Bond has visited. He wants to give his opinion on this bride being a total witch. So what do you think? Is that the complaint you're lodging? I think he's also saying that the couple is a real ass for uninviting this girl, this basically plus one. She's like the plus one of her friend. So that's some wild shit right there. Here. Want me to turn your toy on? There you go. Um, hmm. So I didn't know anybody since being ejected around 1:30ish. I was expected to just hang until 7:30 p.m. when the reception started. So I left. I feel so unwelcome and unwanted that I just wanted to go home. The evening do will start in about half an hour without me, but I just can't bring myself to attend, knowing that half the guests watched me being asked to leave by the bride herself. Yeah, this person already said that they have like anxiety issues and like get embarrassed really easily. Okay, bye. So that is like so incredibly humiliating and so much worse than it would have been if it was someone who like just has no shame and doesn't care, about what other people think. So, um, Leon says autism is beast. Yeah, definitely. I'm very inquisitive. Good. That's good. I'm getting a cat soon. It'll be a rescue. Can't wait. It'll be my only friend. Oh no, we're friends. We're friends. You don't have only one friend, but yeah, definitely recommend the cat thing. They are you have to vibe with the cat, right? Before you get a cat. You got to make sure it's a good fit. Or you got to wait for one of them to just be like hanging out outside your door and then the cat distribution system has worked for you. So I love my little guy. He's my spicy little asshole, but I love him. Um, okay. So, knowing that okay. So I traded in my train ticket, which was a return for tomorrow, and now I'm traveling back alone. I texted Eric to tell him, but he didn't respond. I've been holding back tears since I was ejected 6 hours ago, and I feel completely torn. I don't understand what happened with the invite, whether it was a mistake or whether I was just supposed to know that it was only for Eric, despite it being addressed to both of us, despite asking for both of our dietary requirements, despite explicitly stating that we were invited to the whole wedding. Part of me feels like I should have gone to the evening reception too, but I'm soaked through. My hair and makeup look awful. My shoes are unwearable. I'm barefoot on a really gross floor right now, and I'm freezing. I look a mess and I feel so stupid. You're not stupid. The bride is stupid. Captain Nad says, Bond! Yes, my little Bondy boy. And he is. Nope. I don't know where he went. He has left. Bond has left the building. Just kidding. That would be really bad. He's an indoor cat. He has claws though, so he could defend himself. And they do need to be clipped. He needs a manicure. Rescue more than one cat, Leon. Yeah, so there are actually a lot of rescues that don't rescue out, they don't adopt out, single cats, because there are some behavioral issues that could arise from being a single cat. I think my cat sometimes biting me for no reason whatsoever, might be my single kitten syndrome, possibly. So, anyways, um if you can get a pair, and also they keep each other entertained, they train each other that, like, "If you bite this hard, I will whack you back, or I will bite you back really hard," they learn together. They learn how to cat together. So anyways, cats are amazing though. I love dogs too, don't get me wrong. I would like to get a dog when I, eventually, like, move, forward in my life, but as of now, it's not conducive with my lifestyle. They need a lot more, than cats do. Cats are pretty chill for the most part. This one's a little cuddle monster though, so you think that, like, cats are not very affectionate, but this little guy, he'll, like, curl up on my lap for, like, 6 hours. So, yeah, he's a little cuddle monster. Um, but anyway, um let's see. Did I mess up here? I feel like I've just been totally fucked over, and I'm really upset that Eric didn't stand up for me or say anything or leave the breakfast with me. Yeah, Eric definitely should have left with her. Leon said it's illegal in Switzerland to own one hamster. Interesting. I thought they eat each other though. Aren't they cannibals? Maybe it's just that the mothers eat their young. I'm not sure, but I think one of those guys, one of those like rodenty kind of pets are, I think they eat each other, or they eat their young or something. Anyway, um, although I think it's less malice and more that he's just a bit hopeless when put on the spot. Yeah, he probably just froze, but I still think, like, your person should speak up for you and, like, stick to your side. So, even if he was kind of frozen, like, didn't know what to do, it would have been good if he said, "Well, she's not gonna stay, then I'm leaving with her." Or even if he didn't say anything, he should have just gotten up and left with her anyway. Um, Actually crazy. This went dark fast. Yeah, well, I've heard that about certain rodents, I forget which ones. I really do. Yes, cannibalism in some rodent or another. Um, so anyway, he froze, obviously. I've never heard of a wedding where you invite a plus one by name, but then they aren't invited to as much of the wedding as the other half of the couple. It's so weird. Nobody else at the wedding had this happen. I don't see how it can be personal since I've never met any of them before. Maybe she's jealous. Maybe she always wanted your boyfriend. I'm really upset and I can't wrap my head around how weird today has been. If this has happened to you, if this happened to you, what would you do? TLDR, went to a wedding, got uninvited halfway through, and am I overreacting by being hurt? No. No, and you had to walk in the rain. It's like a freaking Hallmark movie, okay? That is so sad, and I could, like, literally picture it. You made such an amazing your shoes are probably squelching every step you take in the rain away from this wedding where you were, like, uninvited in the middle of it. That is actually crazy. Okay, edit. This flew up way more than I expected. Thank you to everyone for your words of support. This really helped, and I've gone from a wobbly wet mess to a cackling harpy with my big glass of wine. Oh, good. You've got a big glass of wine. I love it. Yes. Um, you guys don't hold back on your opinions, and I kind of love it. It's now nearly bedtime here. Eric stayed at the party and presumably is still there. I came home and I feel a lot better for knowing how shitty of a situation this was. Karma's a bitch, and when they go low, we go high. So I'm going to go to bed and sleep on it and think about next steps in the morning. A lot of people think I should dump Eric, whereas that had never crossed my mind. I was mostly pissed off with the bride and the maid of honor who may have been involved too. I don't know. Eric will be coming home sometime tomorrow and we're going to talk. I want to hear his piece because he's been drinking since lunchtime. He might just be a dum dum rather than a full blown asshole. Either way, No wind up sudden decisions right now. That's a smart move. I will try and come back and update when everything else happens. Thanks, everyone. Um, what's your handwriting like? Leon wants to know. Sometimes it's neat and sometimes it's not. Most of the time, it's probably not that neat. Sarah says, "Oh man, I forgot you were doing Reddit stories. Sorry, ready for the collab though." All good, all good. Um, going to get to the update on this one momentarily. So, um, basically, this girl was uninvited like halfway through. So basically, her boyfriend was friends with the bride, really good friends with the bride, and she had never actually met the bride, but she was invited, like, her name was on the envelope that the invitation came in, and it was asking for dietary preferences, this, that, and the other, and then after the ceremony, the brunch or whatever it was, the breakfast, um, she didn't have a seat and was like, "What's going on here?" And then, uh the bride was basically like, "Oh, no, you should come back for the reception. You're not, invited to the brunch part of things." Which is ridiculous to invite, like, one part of a couple to different parts of the event. It's very weird. So the bride's an asshole. The couple's an asshole because the groom let it happen too. Um And this comment says, "The person who messed up was the bride, who is an utter word I don't use, but she is. Bitch is probably the word they don't use, but I use it. And Eric, who is appalling. I absolutely cannot believe that he didn't walk out with you. What the hell was he thinking? Did he used to date the bride or the bride's sister?" OOP says, "Funny you say that. The maid of honor is his ex." Knew it. Yeah. Yeah, that's why. I knew it. Although we were not aware until he saw her name in the wedding booklet at the ceremony that she would even be there. However, this is a lot of bad blood between them. There is a lot of bad blood between them. If she is going to intervene to remove anybody, it would have been him. Yeah, very weird. Still weird. Still inappropriate. This is not good etiquette. It's not good wedding etiquette. And Sarah says people are dumb. Yes, that is a very true statement. People are dumb. People are incredibly dumb. Um, okay, update. 10 days later. Um, I hadn't expected the big reaction to my first post, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who gave advice and was supportive. I was feeling super shitty when I initially posted, "Hey girl, you were drinking a giant glass of wine." So, um, you know, can't have been feeling that I mean, emotionally shitty, sure. But anyway, when I initially posted and after a half hour of drinking wine and reading your comments, I felt more sane and calm. I wanted to clarify a few things that people were confused about or that wasn't clear in my first post. I'm in the UK, and our weddings are different to the way weddings are held in the US traditionally. There is a ceremony, the wedding breakfast, which is a sit-down three-course meal, although it's called a breakfast. It's usually in the afternoon. Okay, followed by speeches and then an evening reception, which is like a disco. It's not uncommon for people to invite only relatives and close friends to the ceremony and breakfast, and then invite lots of evening guests for the reception. However, it is uncommon to invite somebody to the ceremony and reception, but not the breakfast, as then they're kind of left to entertain themselves somewhere for 6 hours. Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. Um, Having talked to friends and coworkers since last weekend, what happened to me was a serious no-no in terms of etiquette. Yeah, this was definitely influence of that maid of honor. That's crazy. Me and Eric have been together for nearly a year and a half. We live together and we have a pretty strong relationship. He had no past romantic connections with the bride. I'll call her Marie, which some people were asking about. They went to school together from age 4 to 10 and remained in touch as pen pals and Facebook friends since then. Well, it's been quite a while. They rarely see each other in person, and the wedding was the first time that he would see her in about 2 years. There was zero phone signal at the venue. We noticed this when we arrived for the ceremony and were a little annoyed as the wedding had a hashtag, which we couldn't exactly tweet about with no signal. This is important later. We didn't know this until we arrived at the wedding, but the maid of honor, Helen, was Eric's ex girlfriend. They were together for 3 years and she cheated on him and dumped him and then left him dateless at the wedding. They have a lot of bad blood and do not have any contact with each other. Okay, so on to the update. After leaving the ceremony, I got straight on the train and went back to my hometown. I was on the train when I wrote my first post. When I got home, I told my parents everything and they weren't particularly impressed. And like most of the posters, they were perplexed that Eric hadn't come with me. My mom gave me a big hug, ran me a bath, and poured me a glass of wine. And I just tried to relax and forget about my day from hell. I still hadn't heard from Eric, but texted him to let him know that I was home safe and would see him tomorrow. Eric texted me back at about 9 p.m. asking me what I meant by home, home or the Airbnb that we had booked nearby to the venue. I clarified and he said, "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Love you so much. Kiss." I didn't really know what to make of it since the whole day had just been such a massive fuck up. So I finished my wine, watched a Disney movie, good for you, and went to bed. I hope it was like Mulan. I love Mulan. Um, okay. We will not talk about that. Um, okay. So, the next morning, given I still hadn't really heard from Eric at all, I assumed that he would be getting in at about midday. So I got up early and started wrapping Christmas presents. At 10 a.m., I heard a key in the door, and what do you know? It's Eric, still in his creased suit with red eyes and looking like death. He wasn't really making sense, so I made him have a shower and warm up, made a coffee, and decided to talk once he was looking human again. We sat down together and pieced together his side of the story. Um, Basically, um, once I had left, Eric was absolutely livid with Marie. He had frozen like a deer in headlights when she was asking me to go. That's what I figured. And was kicking himself that he hadn't done the right thing. Yeah, that is absolutely the wrong thing that he did. He should have gotten up and left with her. Um, okay. About 10 minutes after I left, Marie turned around and said, "Oh, actually, a few people haven't turned up. Get Vicky to come back." They couldn't have decided this while she was still there. Fucking hell. We have space for her now. And Eric had tried to call me because there was no phone signal anywhere near the venue. He couldn't get through. And Marie was pretty much immediately said, "Oh, well, never mind. She didn't want to be here anyway," which obviously was a pile of crap and made Eric feel rubbish. Um, oh, Rob says, "Hey there, Hellville. Glad you're back. Your voice sounds good. Thanks for letting us know over the weekend." Yeah. No worries. Thank you for being here. Yeah, my voice is still a little bit rough. It's usually a little bit stronger than this, but that's okay. It'll be fine. And we have some 341 to talk about after this. So I am going to hop over to Echo Stream after this as well. Um, okay, so the meal was very formal sit down affair. So he just kind of grinned and bared it, assuming that I would be coming back in the evening. Eric was the only person mentioned in the speeches by Marie's father who wasn't a family member. And apparently, it was clear to everyone how disappointed he was that I wasn't there to share it with him. Then, when I texted him at about 6 p.m. to let him know I was going home, he never received it. Duh, of course, because there's no service. There's no service. He was only able to text me by 9 p.m. By hiking down the road for 5 minutes to find a signal. All the while, his ex Helen was being sickly sweet, asking where I was. Why didn't I want to come and enjoy the party? Was I shy? Apparently, with quite the evil glint in her eye, like she had gotten exactly what she wanted. Well, she did. She did, but she made the bride look like shit, in my opinion. She embarrassed the bride, really, when it comes down to it. Stupid. Apparently, with quite the evil glint in her eye, like she had got exactly what she wanted. Neither of us knew it was the maid of honor until we got there. And given the bad relationship, Eric was pretty pissed off that Marie had failed to mention she had such a prominent role in the wedding. Whether Helen was behind the seating error, I do not know. But she was then, but if she was, then Marie is just as bad in enabling it to happen. She was just as bad anyway by kicking you out in the first place. So, I would never talk to these people again. So Eric stayed at the wedding miserably and went back to the Airbnb afterwards alone. He barely slept, feeling angry at Marie and Helen for fucking with us and at himself for not sticking up for me, and left at 4:30 a.m. to get the first train home. Hence why he was back at our place so early. He wasn't really apologetic to me at all. That's a problem. He didn't really seem to see how it was shitty for me. He more felt like he had been insulted by the situation and let down by his oldest friend. He's cutting off Marie and doesn't want anything else to do with her. Good. Um, so yeah, that was Eric's take on the whole thing. To be honest, I was pretty pissed that in all of this, he hadn't really considered how I felt or what it had been like for me getting thrown out of the wedding in the rain with the nearest bar, 20-minute walk away. Okay. No umbrella, of course, like a Hallmark movie. Um, so while what he had, gone through was pretty crummy, he at least had been warm, dry, and well fed. The indignation of your girlfriend being removed from the event you're at isn't really as bad as the girlfriend getting soaked in the rain, feeling humiliated, and all the rest. So we talked, and I laid out why I was not okay with what happened and why his reaction wasn't okay. He can be a bit of a lemon sometimes, and this feels like one of those times. Yeah, just absent-mindedness. He didn't step up to the plate and he just let the world wash over him and acted as a bystander. I'm still hurt by his actions, but he still hasn't really apologized properly. I don't know if he understands what he did wrong too. But this isn't a deal breaker for me. It's a heavy straw on the camel's back, but the camel is still standing. So yeah, I mean, I would say that, but if it's like a recurring way that you're being treated, where he regularly just freezes and doesn't stick up for you, this just might have been a particular time, you know. But if it's a regular thing that happens, it is definitely a bit of a red flag, in my opinion. So, anyways, um, we have a really lovely Christmas coming up, and after a really long autumn of working hard, all I want is to go back to the happy place we were at before this fuck up. And honestly, I don't want to think about it. So I know a lot of you guys are going to drag me over hot coals for this one, but we're still together. Honestly, there's so many worse relationships on Reddit, so this one's really not that bad from what we've read. If everything else is good and he doesn't do this very frequently, then I think your relationship is relatively on the solid side. Um, but anyway, I'm not going to break up with him over this, but it's a big dark mark on his record. As far as I'm concerned, he needs to get a lot of extra credit to get a pass this year. To use the terrible analogy. Yeah, that is a pretty bad one. And I expect him to step up and really try to do better from now on. It's not really an ultimatum, but I'm willing to put this behind us if he can prove to me that he's invested and trying harder in this relationship from now on. If he doesn't, then I won't be sticking around. I love him a lot, but he needs to have my back and be empathetic to what I'm going through. I'm sorry that this wasn't a victorious breakup update. I don't think everyone always needs to break up. That's not really always what I jump to. Like, yeah, if there's a bunch of red flags, then sure. I do think it was really crappy that he didn't stick up for you in that moment, but I don't think that alone was breakup worthy. Again, if it's indicative of like a constant state of being, then sure. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so um I love him a lot, but he needs to have my back and be empathetic to what I'm going through. I'm sorry that this wasn't the victorious breakup update that most of you wanted, but I want a nice, happy Christmas together. So I'm not ruling it out as an option if things don't improve. But I will give him another chance to prove this relationship is worth it. Um, yeah, I think that's a fine resolution. I've set up a deadline in my head where I need to see significant improvement in a few areas of the relationship, which I told him is important if he wants us to stay together. And if that doesn't happen, I'm gone. If he messes up big time before then, I'm gone. I'm just giving him one last chance to pull himself up by his bootstraps and prove it's worth staying for. Okay, so there's obviously other stuff going on in their relationship that we were not let in on. So if she's at that breaking point already, and this was obviously like not a good thing, but like I said, it's kind of relatively on the small side of things. I will say though, like um he was probably just being absent-minded, but he also should have been apologetic. I think that's the bigger issue than the initial issue of him not standing up in that moment. He should have apologized the moment he came home and apologized for not standing up for her and for not leaving with her. So, and Sarah says, my husband did a ton of stupid things when we were young. So I think her setting firm boundaries is good. Yes. I do too. I do think though that if you're saying, if this small thing happens, then I'm out. If that small thing happens, then I'm out. Then that means that your foot is already half out. And if you're not 10 toes in, you're out. So like kind of what's the point? Like at that point, you know? I think it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign in my opinion. Um okay. And that is the end of that story and Sarah agrees. Yes. So enthusiastic yes or no. That is all I have for today. I am going to hop over to Echo's stream, assuming he sent me the link. Let me just check. I think he did probably, because he said he would send it when he gets home. So, um, yep, he did. Okay, so I will be going over there. So I will be there in like 4 or 5 minutes probably. I got to figure out if I can simulcast it to my own channel. If I can do that, then you can find me here on this channel. I mean, not this link, but this channel. Otherwise, hop over to Echo's channel. I also need to figure out how to do redirects. But yes, so yes, I will see you soon. And Leon says, I got blocked recently from Reddit. They said security reasons, but I need to confirm my email. I don't have that email anymore. It's like a 10-year-old account. I feel sad about it. Yeah, I'm really upset. They refused to relinquish my main. My main was taken away. Not by Reddit either. Someone took it. Well, I was given a link into the studio. So I don't have a link yet. Once I get situated in there, you may see that I'm live on my channel. So if you refresh in a few minutes on my channel page, you may see that I'm live now, and that's how you can find it. If not, then if you don't see it in 5 minutes, then I couldn't figure it out, and I will be on Echoes from the Tabernacles stream, to which I don't have a link right now. So I'm sorry, I'm useless. It's fine. But anyways, I will see you guys soon, okay? And I will probably do another Reddit reading maybe on Wednesday if the Laura Owens thing, the Owens verse, doesn't have anything interesting happening. So, thanks for coming to my TEDx talk, and remember to always use Reddit like it's a journal. So that way we have content. Bye guys, have a good night.